Wood Turners, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. We got a little something to talk about dealing with wood turning. You got a minute? Stick around and watch. This might be good. I said might. Hey, I got my show and tell already. It's kind of cool out here. You know, we're in the 60s. That's cool for us in South Louisiana. So I had to put on the hoodie and, the hat. Hat bothers you? Well, I could do this. Put it on like that. Right? Yeah, you see that? Yeah. You know, this used to drive my daddy crazy because he said straight away, if your hat has to be facing that way, God would have made you face that way. So, I ain't gonna make him mad because I know he's in heaven watching me. All right, we got a couple of things to chat about. I get calls all the time, and I love it. I love it. Guys call to brag on their work, complain about their work, ask for suggestions of their work. Share ideas with me. Yes, that's what we do here. And I do it all the time. If you want to do it with me, all you got to do is call me, and here's, where is it? Right there. There's the phone number. Just got to give me a call. Or you can email me to my email address at the end of the tape. Or anything else, because I love to assist you. It's what we do here. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I got a call from a guy this morning who sent me a picture, and because it's copyrighted, I can't show you, sent me a picture of a page out of his manual for his lathe. He's got an old Delta 1242, and I'm talking old. It's 2 or 3 years older than I am. So he's got this old Delta, and he went to the book. And he says the book tells him specifically how to place the tool rest in a tool to do cutting or lathe work. Well, right now that lathe is up. That book is up in Ohio on fire right now. He went out and burned it because it had so much old information in it. It wasn't made for the, how do you put this, amateur, inexperienced guy looking to do art with the new tools in the world today. All that was not figured in that book. And a lot of times you'll hear people refer to some perfect ways to set up your tool rest. I want to know where in the hell they got that information at. I can't find that information. I don't believe there is a perfect place to set your tool rest. That's just it. I don't think you can say if I put it this far over and this foot up and this, that it'll work. It really doesn't. It doesn't work. Right off the bat, let me flip back through the thing here. This is a picture of you and you at the lathe. Okay? This lathe is right out of the store. Let's say it's one way, an old one way. All right, straight out the store, non-adjustable legs, and it's sitting flat on the floor. And then you step up, here you are, you step up and you pick up your lathe tool and you go to work. And you put it right on across to the piece. All right, this is a regular height lathe, and you're 6 foot 1 inches tall. Okay, let's play with memory or your imagination. You're 5 foot 6 inches tall, and this is a one-way lathe. Your tool rest, it's going to look like this when you put it up. You see, your arm, I hope I can do this upside down. Your arm right here bends right there. See that? That's where it bends. Now, when you put your arm out, your center stock should be at that level. And here, we have a spacing of about 4 or 5 inches. Why? Because you're a short little sucker. You were built low to the ground for speed. Okay? Or you've had one or too many Budweisers in your life. But beyond that, the lathe isn't built for you. The lathe is built to come across the counter and be sold to people like you. So you bought a new Jet 1014 Mini, and it came with a stand. And you take it home, put it all together, put it in the shop, and you go out to turn on it. And you're getting catch after catch after catch after catch. And you can't figure out what's gone wrong. This is going wrong. This is too high or too low for that lathe. Right here. because when you bend your arm over, it should be straight away to where it crosses the tool rest in the center line. It's the only time it matters in the center line of the lathe. Why? That is your ultimate hinge point, because then you can hinge your arm down, get more comfortable. If you turn with your arm up like this, you're looking for trouble. If you turn with your arm down like this, you're looking for trouble. You just relax a little bit, you can grab the tool, and you can gently apply it to the lathe. I said gently apply it because you know what a plow does a field? If I got the graphic, I can show you. This is what a plow looks like. And when you run it through a field, it tears up the dirt, right? And then a disker is the same way. When you run it through the field, it turns over the dirt. Well, you don't want to turn over the dirt, well, the wood in this case. You want to slice it off like a hatchet or an axe. You want to slice it off. Why? It's less impact on the wood. Gives you a better starting finish. It's smoother and easier to work with. Got about a mile and a half list here. That's what happens if the tool rest, start with, tool rest is at the right height. Now remember, there's no book on this. There really isn't. At least I don't know if there's one. Now, let's go to the next slide. This is where you are standing there and you're coming out with your hand lower than the lathe, lower than the centerpiece. All right, you're 5/6, it's regular size lathe. Okay, couple of ways you can fix it. You can't, I gotta get this out of the way. You can't cut the legs off the lathe. That won't work. You can't cut these legs off to bring it down. You can bring you up. I taught a guy how to turn a couple of years ago, and he says, when I turned today, I hurt for 3 days. He's a little bit older than I am, and things didn't work right, but he was reaching up all the time and moving his head up a little bit to get the right view through his bifocals. And I said, you know what, we got to fix that. So we, real quickly, went out and found a pallet. And he put his feet up on that pallet. We started out with something about 1.5 inches thick. He was still raising his shoulders to make the cuts. So then we went to something 3.5 inches thick, a regular pallet. Put it down, length of his lathe. You don't have to have it under the lathe. The length of his lathe, which is 2 pallets, put a piece of 1/4 inch plywood on top of it, and built them a platform to work on. The next day he called me. He would have bought me a car if I asked him to. This eliminated his problems because his shoulders and his neck were all being stretched out because he was trying to reach up to a lathe that was too tall. It's just that simple. Now let's get to this. If you have your tool rest, this is out of the book. If you have your tool rest set like they say, right here, and you have the gap right here, and I'll get this right. They say that gap should be about 1/16 of an inch exactly at the center of your piece. That's what the book says. Here's the problem. If you're straight in 1/16 of an inch away, number one, it's a little bit too close. Number two, if you're straight in, you can't do a slicing cut. You have to come in at an angle. You really have to. Either you angle on your arm or you angle on your blade. Or for me, it's a combination of both. I get my arm comfortable, I hold my tool up, I rub my bevel, and then I slowly twist my hand to engage the bevel. I don't care what kind of tool I'm using. Really don't. It can be a roughing gouge, a bowl gouge, an Ellsworth gouge, a skew, a scraper. I don't rub the bevel on a scraper, but all of them, I engage the blade vertical and then roll it over to make it cut. It's a simple technique, but if you play with it, you'll realize that a lot of times the problem with all of this that's causing you catches and problems and all aches and pains is this. The lathe is the wrong height to match you. Now there's formulas that say your elbow resting should be even with the tool rest. Okay, I'm 71 years old. I got a lot of muscular problems. That won't work for me. Why? Because that means I got to hold something up or get in a position. So I just get where I'm comfortable, and blade goes up, and I'm not too high, and I'm definitely not below. Nothing cuts below center. No, I don't care. What would your brother-in-law tell you? I don't care. It doesn't cut below center. That's tearing or plowing. You don't want that to happen. See if you can adjust it. Oh, wait. Here's one better. You go to Harbor Freight, or I understand Home Depot's got them. They sell you a lathe for $200. Cheap. And remember, I said cheap. That means the bearings, the bushings, the tool rest, the headstock, the clamp, everything. Cheap. All right? And they took some money out of the thing to sell it cheap. Now, you buy that and you take it home because the guy says you can set it up on your workbench and do okay. Well, if your workbench is 36 inches high and then you've got 6 inches to the center, you're going to have to be 7'5¼ tall in order to make that work. Why? Otherwise, you're reaching up like this. Well, you really are, and you don't have any control. Remember this, you must be able to control that tool. You must be able to twist your wrist to engage it. If you got to pick your arm up, step over, raise 1 foot or whatever, you're not comfortable. You need to be comfortable when you make that slice. And I call it a slice. Mark Soleil calls it a slice because when you're not plowing and you're not disking, you're slicing. And that's a key thing. Boy, they're doing work around here on the streets. It's noisy as hell. They had a car go by just now. It reminded me of that Toyota commercial. The red car and 2 girls riding. And it's supposed to be, they pull up and it's got all the features and all that. And then they take off. They show you a picture of where the car goes zooming across the road. Looks good. You see that commercial? Look in the background when it goes zooming across the road. There's a stop sign they just ran through. I guess it was all for TV. Or they're women drivers. Okay, that could, either one would work on that. Now let's get back to slicing wood. When you go in with that and you do a slice, you'll get curlicues, little things. If you go in with your tool and you're getting flakes, you're cutting wrong. If you're getting stuff tearing out, you're cutting wrong. Yeah, you're moving wood, but what are you doing? It's like you're taking dynamite to your log and blowing it out. Well, let's not do that. Now let's play with that tool rest again. Remember to get it to the height where when you rest your arm, you're crossing that tool rest, you're above center, slightly above center, because you don't want to cut on the top, that's silly. You're slightly above center, and you're getting that cut. You start off with it more vertical, and then you engage it. I got to tell you that. Do not go in flat. I don't know of a tool I would use to slice wood away that I'd go in flat. Oh, understand me. I totally dislike negative rake scrapers. I can't call them a gimmick or a sales pitch or anything else. I totally think it's useless. Whatever you can do with that negative rake scraper, I can do with my plain old Sears $6 scraper I got off the shelf at Sears. Because nothing happens except the tip going in and scraping off, remember it's a scraper, scraping off the final pieces. That's all it does. So it's got to have a sharp tip, which means you make 1-2 passes, you get out your diamond stone or your carbon stone, and you dress off the top of it. Never the face. Don't ever touch that face. Dress off the top of it and improve that bed, that little bevel or that edge, because that's what you want to go in, turn it on, and slice it across. It will give you a better cut than almost any sandpaper out there, because it's giving you a cut. You're not rubbing the wood away. You're not burnishing it away. You're not grinding it away. You're not overpowering it. You're slicing it. And that's what you can do with almost any skew. Cindy Drozda is one of the best wood turners in the world. Bottom line, she's one of the best wood turners in the world. I think she's magnificent, teaches good, and explains well. Watch Cindy get out her negative rake scraper. It's funny. Her negative rake scraper looks just like my skew. Just like it. I mean, she goes in with it flat and puts the final little scrape on finials, fine boxes, bowls, anything. I'm one of those people that believe if you can safely control it, you can cut with it. That's right. I will cut the outside of a bowl to a finish, to a pre-scraper finish with my skew. I might be crazy, but it's a sharp blade that I can control. I'm not going in hogging it, and you don't either. Okay, so my tip for today, and it ran a little long, is your tool rest height is not in a book. Your tool rest height is right here. Well, really, it's right here. So if you set it up right and you're comfortable, if the length is tall, get taller. Raise your feet up. If the length is short, put a block under it and raise it up. And oh yeah, I'm not a fan of putting 1,000 pounds of weight on the lathe to keep it from moving. Let's do something about the vibration before you get there. It's called the chainsaw. Okay? But that's what I do to adjust it. I have something else to talk to you about. Don't move. And I mean it. Don't breathe nothing. Stay. Stay. I have to do these programs in 2 segments because I am the monitor, one of the founders and the monitor of WorldWideWoodturners.org. That's right, WorldWideWoodturners.org. We have our own newsletter, The Turning Point. We have a Facebook page, really nice, Worldwide Woodturners. We're on YouTube. That might be where you see this at, on 3 or 4 channels. And if our IT director get 5 channels. Okay, so I stay busy in all these things. And I also have my own business by Captain Eddie Castellan at eddiecastellan.com. But Worldwide Woodturners is non-commercial, and that's what I want to talk to you about. We are a great organization, totally of volunteers, and we are there to spread the word of wood turning. That's all. You don't buy our magazine, you don't join our club, you don't pay me a membership due. You don't have to wear a special hat, no secret handshake, anything like that. All you have to do is join us. We meet Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. Why I picked that? Because Wednesday night TV sucked, and it seemed to be a good time for East Coast and West Coast. But we also have people from England, Canada, South America, Australia, Hawaii, all joining the club and working with us, explaining. And we all talk. We share gallery. We share tips and hints, programs. We try to get a demonstration every time. And we got a couple of good guys that do demonstrations. Some fellas that are seasoned turners. I don't like to call them professionals. They're seasoned turners. And they know what they're doing. And they share it with you. And you don't have to pay per view. We're not pay per view. Pay per views might be charging you pay per view for a fireworks display. Ain't gonna work. So we're not doing pay per view. We're showing you what you have to do, what you don't have to do. I'm asking you to join us because I want your ideas. I want your input. I want your yeses. I want your nos. I want a whole bucket of your nabbies. All that stuff. We want it on Worldwide Woodturners. How do you get there? You go to our website, worldwidewoodturners.org. Nothing else. worldwidewoodturners.org. Remember that. On the front page, they have a little thing over on the right-hand side that says Join Club. On Wednesday evenings, 7 o'clock Central, Daylight Central Time, we have the formal meeting. Now, we open the doors at about 6:30. Why? You like to talk to each other. And you got a lot of things to share. You bring things out, you bring out tools, you talk about the S's and the No's. And remember, we're totally non-commercial. So if you say, I turn such and such, and I use Bob Gilmore's gouge, and that's all you can use, we don't want to hear it. If you say, I turn this and use the bowl gouge, I'm okay with that, because Bob Smith down the street might not be able to buy an expensive gouge. He may be working with a kit or a set, or hand-me-downs, or garage sale stuff. So we got to explain it to the novice turners that it's the turner, not the tool that does the work. And we welcome your input. So if you want to join us, Wednesday evenings, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. The click is on the front page of our newsletter, of our website, and that's where we got clips from the newsletter, old programs, text stuff, photographs. Dave is our IT manager. He's got everything that we come across on our website. We're building to be the biggest and the best, not because it pays, because the 2 cents that you'll give me, which is your worth, those 2 cents build up. And with all those 2 cents, we will be WorldWideWoodturners.org. Get out in the shop. Well, first, go look at the computer. But then get out in the shop. Turn some wood. Take care.